Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Technology. So I'm actually starting off today's episode by making some new tools, specifically out of blue steel. Now that we're at the point where I can actually make blue steel, which is I think the fastest mining speed material I can make now, I was like, okay, it's time. I need some better tools. And this will just make my life in general a whole lot easier. But with tools knocked out, it's time to get into the real juice of today's episode, and this one's going to be a long one. Because today we're picking up the mess, we're filling in the holes, and we're passiving everything. So first and foremost, you guys may notice I have no ore processing here at the main base, and that's the first thing we're going to resolve. And today we're going to remedy that. However, before we remedy that, of course, I'm going to stick with my promise and add more to the base. This time we need to add an area for ore processing. Oh, and not to mention a ceiling. Yeah, so actually this building session had me a little bit slumped at first. I went through some trial and error, and eventually I was like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back to my roots, go with what I know works. So I took a little bit of inspiration from a previous base we did in Moni Factory. I mean, a lot of this base has inspiration from that previous one. I just took a little bit more. And I went for kind of a multi-block bay type area that I could kind of just put multi-blocks in whenever I wanted. And let me tell you guys, I am so bad at roofs, exteriors, and ceilings. I can never figure it out, never do. And, you know, I find myself doing this a lot, but whenever I am kind of slumped for an idea on something, I kind of go, well, I'm just going to slap a B on it. That's exactly what I did here, except instead of a B, I put honeycombs, or really hexagons. And this is a ceiling that I've done before, so even less creativity on my part, but hey, I know it works, so I did it. Yeah, I gotta say, I am pretty happy with this. I'm finally happy that, oh yeah, I made night vision goggles. Look at me, I'm a very stylish bee. I'm very happy that there's a bit of a roof somewhere in the base, because eventually at some point I would like a roof to go over all of this, but like I said in the montage, was kind of slumped. Anyways, on to the real mission, ore processing. So there's this thing called the Ore Processing Factory, and it's pretty much what we had before in LV, but a lot better. But the other major problem is that all my stuff is still over here, so I kind of just have to move it all. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's literally the exact same setup that I built a few episodes ago, except with super chests and electricity. So now on to the nitty gritty. All of these need each of their different block here, which of course means I'm going to need storage buses on each and every one of these super chests here. And then with just an interface, I need to pull each one of these items and insert them, right? So given this guy were connected, I should see this thing start working. Okay, though, you know, I should wait until I have the item collection, and then we can get to doing this. Okay, this looks a lot better. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, these are all the ores that this will make. So if I go ahead and do this and I turn this on again, we should see all these numbers rise, oh yeah, at a very good rate. All right, and just with a little bit of overclocking, all of these have gone, yes, and they're doing their thing too. So all of these things that I didn't have before at the base because they were all at the old place, I now have on passive here. So all of these ores here, really except for sphalerite, are kind of useless in the ore processor because we can get the ores that they make the other way. So for example, if I look at copper at the ore processor, it makes nickel and gold, which are useful, except we can get both of these from the void extractor. So the only one that's particularly useful here is sphalerite because we can get gallium. The rest we can straight up just smelt. So this of course does mean we're going to need to rebuild the void extractor. And this guy I'm going to set up here. Now, unfortunately, before we continue, we have more holes to fill. Like I said, we're going to be here a minute. Because we need lubricant on passive in order to actually run that ore drill. Now, luckily, lubricant is not really hard to get at all. We just need creosote or seed oil. Meaning I'm going to need a pyrolysis oven, which, funny enough, I actually have not made yet. Awesome, pyrolysis oven made. So an interface on the input bus, this just needs a log. So I'll just be using spruce because that's what I have a lot of. I need to move, see the farms I gotta move to. Like I said, we're gonna be here a minute. I see a montage in the near future. And this we just wanna turn into creosote, probably just on circuit 1. Yes, awesome, and we're making creosote and charcoal. And the creosote I'll just store inside of a super tank. And this, yeah, I can just throw into a brewery and get a whole bunch of lubricant. So I think I can just do this, give this guy here power, and then he's also going to need redstone. Yes, and then you're making me lubricant. So at this point, I really just need to deal with the outputs from all of these things that we've kind of done before, like all of this. Like here, I don't know if I want to send this through the ore processor, but it needs to be macerated. And these two both are going to need some kind of multi-block. The centrifuge and the electrolyzer are multi-blocks that I want to make. Yeah, whew, I really hope this is all going to be worth it.
Sometimes I think they're right, honey. Sorry for the tears in your eyes. Hey, love, forgive me just one more try. Used to hide myself away in the night, looking for trouble and fights, looking for answers at the bottom of my glass. You found me lost in the night, looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, 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 someone to rely on.
Oh my gosh, this took a long time. And I have some future steps ready before we keep moving on, but I also added a few things I want to quickly show. Like I added some level emitting for important things, so this doesn't just keep running mindlessly. But we're pretty much processing everything we get from the Void Extractor mine. We're not completely done yet, except for the molten ore mixture, and I'm not smelting any of the ores yet, which I'm gonna do next up. But before I do any of that, I'm currently working on getting a bunch more assemblers for auto crafting, because yeah, having one assembler is not enough. I need multiple circuits of this. And now this pretty much means I can encode a lot more things. Apparently I'm out of Certus quartz dust. That's probably not a good thing. So one other thing is I can also now make, I have been able to for a while, make auto maintenance hatches. I'm gonna start to convert everything to these auto maintenance hatches. But anyways, back on topic, what do I need to do next? Well, first of all, I would like to make a whole bunch of ore processing factories. I think I'm going to try and get away with just making 4 of them. And the reasons I want these ores in particular is because they all have some kind of niche material that I need. So one other thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and attach these geodes to this system, because right now, I think I just have it right here making my geodes. I really should have this on passive. Like I said, today is going to be a long episode. But what I have over here is one of those little interface thingies that I can have between two systems. So here, my main net is looking into this green subnet, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is have my subnet look into my main net, specifically for Certus quartz geodes on extract only. And that way, I can kind of just throw them into this macerator here. And as you can see, oh yeah, that gets me a lot of stuff. What issue is I have to get this back to mainnet, which I don't think should be too difficult. And I guess this is actually a good time to explain kind of what I'm doing, but basically I'm routing the items through all of these in many different ways. Some items go back to the same machine after they're processed. Luckily, the machines are able to keep up with what we have, right? So that's all I'm really doing here. So I'm sending the Certus Quartz geodes into here, and I'm going to send this crushed Certus Quartz back into the macerator, be turned into impure pile of Certus Quartz, and then I'll run this through a centrifuge, or I could just make an ore washer real quick, which is probably what I'm going to do instead. So now that this system over here is making my, if I could find it, my crushed Certus Quartz, what I can do is I could go back to this little double interface thing I have and have impure pile of Certus Quartz be seen by mainnet. And now I've made a little ore washer over here. This guy should be running. Perfect. So upon further inspection, I do not have enough stainless steel to make 4 ore processing factories. So we are going to take a tangent. And I'm going to start passiving a whole bunch of stuff, including stainless steel, which I did make a whole bunch of dust, but I would like a lot of this on passive. Same thing with lumium and signalum. There's no reason for them not to be on passive. So like a good chunk of this part here, I want to just be machines for passiving small stuff. And I had a setup actually similar to this in Moni Factory. So you may remember if you have watched or are watching that series, but basically it involves a bunch of drawers, a bunch of whatever machine, and a bunch of laser nodes. Unfortunately, we have to use laser IO. It looks ugly. I'm not the biggest fan of how you can't put facades on it or anything, but we'll make do. And basically what I can do, right, if I have an extract card right here, let's say, for example, I want stainless steel on passive. I'm going to go ahead and put the ingredients for this inside of this interface. Then on this guy here on circuit 3, on the laser node, I'm going to have a item card counting filter with the same stuff going down into here. And now all of this, I just have to power. So now with an ME connection, I should see this mixer start to make stainless steel. As soon as I get nickel and manganese dust, 2 things I have to put on passive. So I can go ahead and fix that problem just by adding a whole bunch of macerators. Do I need that many? maybe not. It's okay. We'll use them all eventually. So for stainless steel, I'm going to need manganese on passive, nickel on passive, iron, and chromium. I think chromium we already have on passive, so I don't need a macerator for that. But for like iron, I definitely will. And probably manganese too. Right, and I'm just going to store these in a drawer up here. I'm going to go ahead and like downgrade them because I don't really want to store that many of the dust specifically, because that's just going to be mixed. And then I want to store the finished product. So even like down here, I'm going to have downgrades. So a storage bus on all of this. Yes, and now we're making stainless steel. Wonderful. And so I started putting everything on passive. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm going to skip most of it. Be warned, but I will explain it after the montage, just because a lot of this we've already made before, so I don't see the point of wasting time on it in the video, and it makes my editing life just a little bit easier. But the main goal of this passiving session was to get all of the AE alloys on passive, and also my superconductors, but really mostly AE stuff. Phew, okay, on to the explaining and what I didn't exactly show. So pretty much everything to the right of the sky steel is stuff I have not shown in the montage. That's just because, I mean, all of this we've made before. It's just a lot of machines going on over here. I still need to pass a few things, specifically like copper, tin as well. A lot of that we have like raw ore on passive. We're just not smelting it yet, which we're going to do here in a minute. But the main part is all of these alloys are on passive. But again, before I finish a lot of ore processing stuff, including the smelting of a lot of these ores, I need rubber on passive. I don't actually have this on passive yet because I don't have raw rubber pulp on passive. And funny enough, it's actually pretty easy. I really just need like one of these guys right here. I think actually 2 of them, which is exactly what we're going to do. So there's multiple ways of doing this. I'm just going to do it with the barrel transformation way to get siltake spores or slide take spores. And I'm hoping this should be pretty easy. I don't exactly know where I want to set this. I need like a designated farm area. For now, I'm just going to put it all right here. So I think what I can actually do is for the input hatch on this guy, I can just have it directly attached to the output hatch from this guy over here. So what I mean is this is going to be making witch water, which will be going into this input hatch here, which will be making my slime. And then this one over here will just have my mycelium spore. And all this thing needs is water, right? So you should start working. Yes, you're going to make me my witch water, which should go directly into here, which should make my slime. So with just a few electric furnaces, we're now making my sticky resin, which I do have the turning of sticky resin into raw rubber pulp on passive. So this is finally on passive, and debatable whether I want to make this faster or not. I probably will in the future, but for now, this is just fine. So now that I have that done, I want to see if I can't smelt up a bunch of these ores. And then some of them I'm going to send through an ore processor, specifically these 6. But everything else I'm going to run through just probably a multi-smelter. So I have a list of all the different ores I would like to send through a multi-smelter, and I'm hoping 2 of them is going to keep up. Well, we'll see. On each input bus, I think I'm straight up just going to have some of the ore, and it should be able to keep up. And I'm just going to kind of store it like I've been storing everything else up here. I see no universe where this isn't able to keep up. There is a lot of backlog though, so that I am going to have to kind of AFK for to catch up, but it's not the end of the world, right? But now I should no longer have to worry about things like iron, copper, nickel, and a lot of that other stuff, which is really, really nice because that means we can move on to the next thing, because I still don't think we have enough stainless steel to make the ore processing factory. Oh, actually we have enough to make 1. Let's do it. All my stainless steel gone. We'll also say this thing does look kind of goofy, but it is formed and it's ready to go. Oh man, I'm excited to use this thing. I hope it actually works. And I also have a list of ores I want to put in here. Alrighty, so I have everything set in here. I think most of these also need sodium persulfate and some of them water. Luckily, I do have all of those on passive. So all of these should have, yes, everything. Beautiful. I think I'll see this guy turn on, question mark. Oh yeah. Ooh, it might actually be able to keep up. Hold up. Wait, that is really good to see. This is actually performing quite well. So as usual, I'm just going to store all of this, which I have done right here with the magic of editing. And I have also done my due diligence and I have moved all the stuff. So everything that needs to be electrolyzed from down here is now being electrolyzed. And we have things like bismuth, niobium. I think tantalum is somewhere down here too. That's a really good one, and magnesium. So I'm very, very happy with the way this system is coming together. Whew. So everybody, quick fresh breath of air. We can move on to passiving something more. So I start off the next section of this video by making my clean room bigger, because this is going to make it possible for us to do a lot more auto crafting and passiving inside of clean room recipes. And I followed that up by making one of the multi-block cutters that I was supposed to make last episode. I then followed by making a HV laser engraver for our auto crafting. Which brings us to the here and now, where I want to automate a lot of silicone wafers. It's actually why I made that HV laser engraver, so that I can make flawless emeralds from it. So what I've done is in the clean room, I have all of the cutting recipes for the wafers inside of the multi-block, but I'm going to have the actual like laser engraver recipe on passive, because that's just too annoying to do. And doing it this way is much easier. So basically every single one of these laser engravers is going to get their own lens. And like I said, it's going to make my life so much easier than waiting on like a huge auto crafting setup with this. Each of these will be getting a silicone wafer. Yep. That's the sound I want to hear. Not actually. So now I'm making all of my different wafers, which is beautiful. And I'm just going to make a stack of each of these. And luckily the silicone wafers to me at this point are like stupid cheap. Like they're pretty much worthless, so I'm fine like making a stack of each one of these chips. And this will make circuit making and also HV energy hatch specifically making so much easier. Next up, there are some things like copper foil that I want on passive. Now I'm not going to go as all out like I did in Moni Factory with all the passiving I did. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a lot of passiving, but I think most of it is going to be done post IV. But for things that I have on passive, like really passive, like these circuit boards over here, I'm definitely going to put the things that are used to make this on passive, like the copper foil. I just said passive like 10 times. And this is going to work similarly to literally everything else. And this should now be making me copper foil. Beautiful. So next up on the list are a few things that I kind of missed along the way. Things like nitrogen and polyvinyl chloride. In fact, those are exactly what I'm talking about. Nitrogen, however, seems pretty easy, and this also automates beryllium, so kind of a win-win. And luckily for me, I already have the infrastructure for this. So I'm just going to need to be crushing down ender pearls, and then I just need to electrolyze them. Here seems as good a spot as ever. Wonderful, and that's going to give me nitrogen. So the reason nitrogen is so important, and I don't even know if I'm making this fast enough for it to be useful, is I can go ahead and attach it to the EBFs to make things much faster, like stainless steel here, which I did go ahead and speed up. So if I did this and put it on circuit 2, this should start going much faster. Yes, 18 seconds instead of the original 28. For right now, I think stainless steel is the only thing I super duper needed like speed up right now, but nitrogen is going to help us so much in the future for speeding all of this up. So luckily for us, polyvinyl chloride is pretty easy. We just need more ethylene. Now my only concern is we're not backlogging this fast enough. So I may want to figure out a way to deal with that, or I can just have this system duplicated somewhere else, except I'm making polyvinyl chloride instead of polyethylene. The one issue, however, is just being chlorine. And a good way of getting chlorine is just straight up with salt water. And if I'm not mistaken, a good way of getting salt water is just through barrel transformation here. So the input hash, this just needs water, a piece of sand, and I should see this guy running and making me seawater. And that I just need to send into a centrifuge. And these ores, for now, I could send them through the ore processor, and it would go actually at a pretty good rate, so I might do that. But I really just care about the salt water, which I'm actually going to put into a multi-block electrolyzer. And now I'm hoping I should see this salt water get electrolyzed. Oh, I think I need a few more things. Right, so 2 output hatches, you should start going. Yes, wonderful. And that's going to get me chlorine and also more hydrogen. Hydrogen, don't care super duper that much about. The chlorine, on the other hand, is going to come in very handy. And so now I think I'm just going to need, where's the setup? This setup right here, just copy pasted right here, but for polyethylene. Not polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride. Alrighty, so it's been a few days since that montage was recorded, and that's because I'm sick. You probably can hear it in my voice. So I'm gonna have to end this one early, but we did get our PVC done, and I also have this fluid solidifier here making us ingots automatically, so that's pretty handy. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Star Technology. Again, I apologize for the late upload. It's really hard for me to talk right now. Thank you all for being patient, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Star Technology. Later!